G'day, welcome to Mount Coranbra Apiculture. It's Sunday the 26th of March 2023. I'm up at the bees at Nimborda. I haven't been here for 3 weeks, so I was interested to see what I would find today. Everything's going well. The 3-frame nukes that I put queens in 3 weeks ago probably have filled out that extra frame, so I've taken the dividers out and put frames of foundation in so they can expand out. They're all going well, so I'll just leave them alone for a couple of weeks. I can still go back through and pull frames of brood and bees out of these 10-frame boxes and put them into those nucleus hives just to even them up a bit and get them built up before winter. I'll also bring some sugar syrup feeders up to put on them in case any get a bit hungry and I want to build them up before winter. So that's good. Interestingly, one of them was on its side when I got here. I think the cattle tipped it over, and by the look of the grass underneath the hive, it had been there for 2 or 3 weeks. So interesting to say they can survive on their side for 3 weeks. So they were fine and actually build out another frame while they're on their side. What else? I've gone through all the 10-frame doubles, and nice to see that the bees have gone up into the supers, and most of them have drawn at least half of the frames out. Some are fully drawn and full of honey. So I've taken the opportunity to go through and do alcohol washes on most of these big hives. It's 16 weeks since they were stripped and matted by the DPI, so every 16 weeks they need to be alcohol washed. So that's been done on the majority of the 10-frame gear. There was a couple I couldn't find the queen. I'll pick them up next time I'm up here. Don't forget, I've got alcohol wash bottles for sale on my website. I'll leave a link in the notes below. You must check your bees, guys, for Varroa. This could pop up anywhere in the state or anywhere on the east coast of Australia for that matter. So it's really important that we're vigilant and checking our bees for Varroa. The numbers have changed. You only need to do 26 hives now in a lot. So I'll put information about that and links to that in the notes below as well. So yeah, generally pretty pleased. I've also, those 10-frame boxes, I've put queen excluders in and got the queens down under the queen excluder just to make it a little bit easier to manage coming into winter. So yeah, really pleased with that. I've been up here all day, got here about 9 o'clock. I think it's about, yeah, just a bit past 3 o'clock now. So that's a good day, and I'm a bit tired and I'm gonna head back home and bottle a bit of honey. So thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll do a few more regular videos. I just had a busy 3 weeks and just couldn't get up here. So thanks for watching. So just starting to go through these nukes. When I turned up this morning, I noticed this one was laying on its side. Tell by the grass in front of it, it's brown and hasn't seen the sun for a while. I reckon they've been laying on their side for a couple of weeks. So there's bees coming in and out. So let's open it up and see how they're going. So good so far. It's amazing what they'll tolerate and what they won't tolerate, but these look okay, so it's lucky. Let's get this frame out. Yep, they're good as gold. So the objective today with all these little 3-frame nukes is to add more frames. So what I'm going to do is pull out this middle divider. Shake them off. We're going to add frames of foundation. So let's have a look here. That frame's a bit wonky from laying on its side, but the bees will sort that out. Quick look in here. So yeah, nice frame of brood there. There's the queen walking around. Another big frame of sealed brood there, so they're doing really well. So a bit of crooked frame in there. I'm not surprised having them laid on their side for so long. So the temptation is to whack a frame of foundation in there, but I don't want to push them too hard. So what I'll do is coming into winter, they've got plenty of stores there, plenty of seal brood, so they're going to go up in population. So what I'll do is put a frame of foundation against the wall here. And put the other two just there. For a week I could grab a frame of brood from another hive, but that's all I need to do. So they got room to expand now. And yeah, despite laying on their side for, I'd imagine, a couple of weeks, I haven't been here for 3 weeks, they're okay. So that's good. So just continuing through these little 3-frame nukes. They look good. They're covering 3 frames now. If you remember back 3 weeks ago, they hadn't really touched this 3rd frame that I put in, so they're well and truly into that now. Pull our divider out. Let's grab that old queen cage. Let's have a look how they're doing. So that's good. A bit of stores there. Seal brood. They've drawn that other side, and I can see eggs in all those cells there. So that's really nice. Move that back. Very happy, these bees. There's our queen walking around there. Just there. That's good. I don't know why they're so agitated, but they are. So, as we just did with the one before, I don't want to push them too hard, so frame a foundation there, just against the wall, push that back. Two more there. So they've got plenty of stores, plenty of bees, and they'll move on at their own pace in there. On to our next nuke, 3-frame nuke. Once again, they look good, covering all 3 frames. Pull our divider out. I can feel that frame heavy with honey, and there's brood in there as well, so they've done well considering. That looks great. Grab that old queen cage. So once again, I'm just going to have a quick look. Beautiful frame of seal brood, so the population's going to keep increasing in these hives. Pretty confident we'll get them up to 6 frames before it gets too cold here, and even if we need to borrow a bit of brood and resources from these other 10-frame doubles, it's not a problem. So provided we can keep these queen right, they'll do really well. So once again, frame a foundation against the wall, 2 in at the edges. So yeah, I just want to keep that brood nice and compact in the middle, and just let them move out at their own free will. So that's good. So last free frame nuke, I've just got more to go, but don't want to bore you with the process. So once again, they're covering 3 frames. Same procedure. Pull that divider out. Bit of grass growing up through the bottom. Grab that queen cage. Once again, drawn comb. That was just foundation, so some stores in there. That's an older frame, so it's dark wax and brood. Quite a bit of chalk brood in that frame, so we'll just see how that goes. I'll bring a few syrup feeders up and might give them a bit of a feed. Yeah, there's not great brood in there. Quite a lot of chalk brood on the bottom. So there's the queen walking around there. So I'll just put a frame of foundation there. And I'll just note on the lid here that it's got chalk brood, and we'll try and give it a bit of attention next week. So that's a little bit concerning, but we'll get it right. So I just got a note there that it's got chalk brood, so yeah, I'll get a sugar feeder up here and give them a bit of a lift. So if you remember back to the last video, we looked at this hive and it was queenless. I had a bit of a think about what to do with it, and we ended up putting a frame of fresh brood in it with some nurse bees and a ripe queen cell. So I haven't looked in there yet, so we'll open up and see what's going on. There's not a lot of activity at the entrance, which is a little bit concerning. There's plenty of bees in here, so it's 3 weeks since I've been here, so I'm kind of hopeful that we'll have a laying queen in here, but we'll see. So they sound okay. First one's a frame of honey, which is expected. That's honey. That's honey. Look at what's going on here. I can see that new frame that I put in there. And I can see a queen. So there she is there. Just have a look for some eggs. So we know there's a queen in there. She doesn't look quite mated. Quite small. Maybe she has just mated. So I'm looking for eggs. Yep, she's laying. So I can see young larvae in there. So that's a good save. Quite pleased with that. I'm just looking for eggs again. A little hard to see, the sun's just gone behind the clouds, but there's definitely eggs in that last frame, so yeah, that's good. So this hive still, it still had a pretty big setback. All the brood that was in there has emerged, but you know, there's plenty of stores, pollen, honey. I'm pretty pleased with that, so we'll just keep an eye on her. I reckon she's just started laying in the last 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I can clearly see young larvae in there, eggs and larvae in a pool of worker jelly. So that would have been the frame of fresh brood that I put in. It's all hatched out. Yep, clearly worker jelly in there, so that's a really good result. So yeah, it's really important if you're requeening like that, or putting a frame of eggs and larvae in, or a right queen cell in there, that you've got lots of young nurse bees in there with it. It just helps for them to accept that frame and that queen cell and get it going. Old, tired, sick bees are generally hard to do that sort of thing with. So that's a good result. And once again, if you look back the last video, you'll see what I did with this hive. So that's a great result. I'm just going through all these 10 frame doubles. Some of these have had a super for a while, some have only had it for 3 weeks, so I don't know what's in here. Just going through and checking them, giving them a bit of space in the brood box, and also doing a Varroa alcohol wash. So we're required every 16 weeks to do an alcohol wash on these hives in New South Wales. So these were matted and stripped 16 weeks ago to the day, I think, and so we're just going through and alcohol washing the ones we can. So we'll go through that process in this hive and just show you how it's done. So that's a nice big super of honey there. I'd say this one's been on for quite a while. What I want to do is, because these have got no queen excluders, I just want to go through and make sure she's not in the top box. The queen, I mean. So she's unlikely to be on that frame. I have to make a bit of space. There's brood here, so I'm looking for her. They've done really well up here, these bees. I'm really impressed with them. There's our queen there. We're going to put her aside. Plenty of brood on that frame. So you want to collect 200 or 300 bees. I like these big tubs because you can just shake the bees into the, you catch them all in the tub, you can just shake them down in the corner to get them into the wash bottle. It's 200 or 300 bees. A wash bottle here, and just rattle them in. There they are in the wash bottle, and we'll do that wash in a minute. So what I want to do is get this queen down under the queen excluder, just to make it easier to manage. I'll put that frame of brood back in. Still there, I'll just put that aside. Get this super off. Sure I don't squash her. She is. Nice full Super bees. I want to get her down underneath, so I'll just grab her. She is. Gently pick her up by the wings and pop her in. She's now under the queen excluder. So that's good. That's got her caught. A wash done. Just want to make sure these frames aren't touching. It all looks tidy. So we've got our bees in our wash bottle, 200 or 300 bees, a bit of metho. You need to shake it vigorously for 4 minutes. So vigorously isn't like that, which I've seen people doing. It's like this. So we'll shake this for 4 minutes and see how we go. So that's our 4 minutes up. Basically with these double Varroa wash bottles, just tip them upside down. All the alcohol or metho will run to the bottom of the jar, and if there's any mites there, you'll see them in that wash water. So what you will see is stingers, arms and legs, flakes of wax, and just other bits and pieces, bits of pollen. Once you've seen Varroa, you won't unsee it. If you're not sure, I'll leave some links to resources in the show notes down underneath. Yeah, there's nothing there, what I can see. So just then hit your bees back in the wash metho, and get rid of them. Start again. Just moving through these hives. This super would have been put on 3 weeks ago, so see what they're doing. They're starting to draw that out nicely. I deliberately didn't put queen excluders in, so they just move straight up. That's what they've done here, so can't see any brood there, so we'll assume the queen's not up there, and we'll get straight down and try and find her down the bottom and do an alcohol wash as well. That's honey and pollen. I'm not expecting to see her here. Nice stores in that hive. Another nice frame of pollen. Bit of honey around the edges. A bit of brood here, so I'm looking for my queen. Nice eggs and larvae in there. Sealed brood. There's my queen there. I'll put that aside. My bucket. So select a frame with brood. Give it a good shake. So you want 200 or 300 bees in there. About I reckon a fist size. Put that aside. Just do a little bit of rearranging here. So that frame of brood can go back in. Nice frame of fresh stuff. Pull that frame of pollen up. Pull that out. Put our queen back in. And another frame of foundation in there, or partly drawn. Squeeze that in there. That looks good. Just the frame of pollen can go up top. Queen excluder on, so I've now got the queen down underneath. Put that back up. So they'll now have no dramas going through that queen excluder now. Lid on. Just make a note here on the lid that I've alcohol washed it. Grab our wash bottle. The bees in the bottom here. Screw that on. And shake that for 4 minutes. So those bees have been alcohol washed for roughly 4 minutes. If you want to set a timer, you can. Just make sure they get a good vigorous shake to dislodge anything that might be on them. So just gently shake then and turn it over. And you need to look up in there to see if anything's fallen out in that alcohol wash water. Once again, you'll get stings and flakes of wax, pollen, little bits and pieces of bees, but yeah, very clearly no mites in there, so they can go back out and on the ground.